journey here, because as Saul said, a journey is ongoing. Most of you who know my work, I take the discarded, the broken, and the damaged, and I reassemble it into something very powerful and really part of our collective memory, because as a Jewish community, that's what we have going forward, and that's what we've collected from the past, many of which include the damaged, the discarded, and the forgotten. In this case, I was working on a grandfather clock with the words of Kohelet, there's a time for everything, also a discarded, broken, beautiful old antique that I found on the side of the road, when my good friend shows up in my studio with a box of items that had been salvaged from a house fire. Her father had been a Holocaust survivor, Hungarian, from Bergen-Belsen. He made his living as a house painter, and one of his dear friends perished in the fire, and he'd salvaged many of the items, one of which was this violin. And she had told me this story some years back, but her father had just passed away. So she showed up in my studio and she said, if anyone can do something with it, it's you. So let me know if you want any of these things in the box. I'd be honored if you could do something with it. One of which was this violin. Broken, damaged, and burned. I'd never had anything salvaged out of the fire. So I thought, well, that's something very powerful and meaningful, but I didn't know and I didn't understand what it would be at that point. So I kept it in my studio. I looked at it occasionally as I was working on other damaged, discarded pieces as assemblages, continued the grandfather clock. During this time, this would have been the mid-90s, there was a big controversy at Auschwitz. They were wanting to develop the land across the street from the camp. They were going to put in a supermarket, a big shopping mall at this time. And so many people, many Jewish communities across Europe and North America banded together to dispute this and to protest this. One fellow who had gone and he had gone to some of these protests came back and then he attended March of the Living. Thankfully, the project was scrapped. And so no shopping mall across the street from Auschwitz. In any case, he returned and he shows up at my studio with some broken pieces of stone, some litter, and some bunches of barbed wire that he had collected from this field that was slated for development. So I said, well, I'll take it. It's an incredible assemblage. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. But then slowly it came together as I took out the violin and I was taking it apart and cleaning it and trying to get rid of some of the burn. I noticed the barbed wire and the strings had come off this original violin, and I thought the barbed wire in its place would now make a statement. And then, of course, during that time, I had been learning about a lot of the musicians that had not only perished, but had survived and played in the camps. And the violin, time and time again, as you hear tonight, is really this almost Jewish instrument, conveying Jewish ideas, Jewish belief, Jewish sorrow, Jewish hope, Jewish happiness, Jewish futures. And that just came together, and I inscribed the violin with some of the names of these musicians provided to me by the Holocaust Museum in Washington. And they conveyed an interest, said, let us know what this looks like. I'm sorry we can't display it when it's finished because you're not technically a survivor, but we'd love to have this archived. So I did finish it with that inspiration, and it stayed in my collection for a while. I showed the piece along with the grandfather clock and a lot of other pieces during that era. So it showed for about 10 years, and then it ended up in my collection and storage